Announced going into Asmara, Eritrea, out of Prescott in Waipahu, Hawaii, James and Jackie Gray. They're coming. Thank God. And Eritrea is a brand new nation for our fellowship, and we're excited about that. Going into another brand new nation, the city of Andorra de Vella, in the nation of Andorra, out of Prescott and Las Vegas, New Mexico, Jaime and Georgia Cruz. Andorra is a landlocked nation within the nation of Italy. And this couple's had a burden for that, and so we're going to send them to a brand new nation of Andorra. Thank God. And going into Nha Trang, Vietnam, out of Prescott, Arizona, and Phoenix, TJ Jr. and Sabrina Horta. Amen. And they are out of the church in Phoenix, pastored by Willie Stewart Jr. Going into Montreal, Quebec, Canada, out of Prescott and Glendale, Arizona, Jeff Wren's church, Nathan and Tori Brazel. We just saw Nathan and Tori in the last video. We announced them to go to an island in the Pacific, yeah, that's it. New Caledonia, that was it. French bureaucracy, they do nothing quickly. And so we have no idea when that may be approved, but this couple have applied themselves to learn French, and they want to do something. And so there are French speakers in Quebec. So they're going to go to Montreal and pioneer, and so we're excited about that. Thank God. Going into the city of Porto and the nation of Portugal, out of Prescott and El Paso, Texas, Bobby and Carrie Perez. Bobby and Carrie spent the last few years pioneering in the nation of Israel, but they finally were forced to leave, turn that over to a couple from Russia who are pastoring that, but they want to do something for God in another nation, and so they're going to go to Porto in Portugal. Thank God. Going into Ciudad Victoria, Mexico, out of Prescott and Uvalde, Texas, Frank and Naomi Martinez. And then we have some announcements of workers that can't be with us in the conference. Into the city of Ampatana East in the nation of Madagascar, out of Ansirabe, Madagascar, Jules and Sandra Manaosi. Then going into the city of Baravina, Avaratra, Fiorana Rasua, Francois Lucien Rasu Ula Malala. Amen. These are like really long names. You know that, right? Amen. These folks have a lot of vowels. I'm suggesting they get together with Czechoslovakians and trade consonants for vowels or something. I don't know. See if they can do that. This church is the first church planted into a new region, the southeast of Madagascar, where we don't have a church. And this city is the 5th largest city in Madagascar. And so we're excited about that work. Going into Bogota, Colombia, out of Redlands, California, Bogota, Colombia, Carlos and Yulitza Rumbos. Going into Honiara, Solomon Islands, out of Beachboro, West Australia, is Dan and Natalie Villani. Thank God. So here are 10 works and 2 brand new nations that we are rejoicing in. Thank God. Thank God. I want to talk to you about investing in saving lives. You know, the dream of every investor is to get a return on your investment, whether that's stocks, bonds, real estate, Bitcoin, whatever it is. Some of you are very clever and you've done well at investing. You invest in order to get a return. But there is a type of investing. There are people that invest in life sciences and medical device startups. In other words, someone may have an idea, they may have an invention that they feel can save lives, but they need money to develop it and make it available. In the last 10 years alone, private equity has invested $280 billion US across 1,800 different life science and medical device companies. That's just in the US alone. A man named Stephen Hellman, he started a company that developed implantable defibrillators. In other words, to shock hearts if someone suffered a cardiac arrest. My uncle, my dad's brother JC had one of these implantable defibrillators, saved his life on a number of occasions. When it would detect that his heart was stopping, it would shock his heart back to life and back into rhythm. Later on, he started another company, and they have an invention called the Zoll Life Vest. This is a wearable defibrillator for people at risk. Just those 2 inventions alone, they say, have saved, multiplied thousands upon thousands of lives. And as I said, my own uncle was saved by that. So there are people that understand we can invest to save lives and get a return. So the question tonight that we have to ask is, what do you want your money to achieve? At the end of your life, what are you going to be able to say about your money? That I used my money, I invested for what? To make more money. Why? To buy stuff. Is that what you're going to say? Or will you be able to say, I used my money to save lives? I want to read to you from 1 Kings 18, 3 and 4. Ahab had called Obadiah, who was in charge of the house. Now Obadiah had feared the Lord greatly, for so it was while Jezebel massacred the prophets of the Lord that Obadiah had taken 100 prophets and hidden them 50 to a cave and fed them with bread and water. The Bible tells about a man who invested in saving lives. His name is Obadiah. Obadiah saw the need. The prophets of the Lord, they were going to be killed by Jezebel, by Ahab, this wicked couple that ruled the nation. So Obadiah thought to himself, someone needs to do something to save their lives. I pray that tonight through the video, through the preaching that you are seeing the need of world evangelism. People who are lost, who don't know of salvation. Pastor Elliott said that he had never met a born-again Christian that exhibited real Christianity until our fellowship sent a worker there. Tonight, we have just announced into the nation of Eritrea, 6.1 million people in that nation. Andorra is a smaller nation, 85,000. The city of Nha Trang, 535,000. Montreal, 1.8 million. Portugal, 1.8 million. Bogota is right on 8 million people. Ciudad Victoria, 432,000 people. And then I told you about this city in Madagascar, in a new region that does not have gospel witness. 2 new nations with no fellowship church. I understand there are other Christians, there are other people that are doing some good things, but I don't know of many people who will preach the gospel like we will. Do you understand the 2 nations that we're announcing tonight? We are their hope. We are the ones who can declare to them that their lives can be transformed. And so Obadiah, he saw the need. Obadiah, then he saw the possibilities for good. The prophets of the Lord. This is more than just we need to save some guys. He saw that these men, what they could accomplish through God's power working in their lives in order to save other people. We know these prophets in the Bible. Samuel turned a nation toward God. Elijah saved a widow and her son from starvation. Elisha saved a boy who had died and was able to bring him back to life. So Obadiah saw these 100 men, and it's not just, I'm going to be nice and save you from death. He was investing in possibilities, because you never know who these prophets would be able to help. What you see on stage and on screen in these 10 couples that we just announced, there will be people saved through the ministries of the workers that we announced tonight. There will be people rescued from hell. There will be lives that will be transformed by what you see on stage and on screen right now. There are going to be churches birthed that will become church planting centers to reach their nation and beyond. Disciples that they haven't even met yet, they're going to be saved, and God will hear the call through their ministry and then will make impact in their own nation. You've seen every night. Tonight you saw 6 men. 5 different continents were represented there, and all they came out of Thursday nights just like this, now preaching the gospel and impacting their nation. Obadiah saw a third thing. He saw the need for investment. He understood this. The prophets could only be saved if someone invested to save them. Verse 4, he had taken 100 prophets, hidden them 50 to a cave, and he had fed them. Obadiah paid with his money to save their lives. It's not enough to sympathize, to say, I feel your pain. Someone had to pay. World evangelism requires the largest investments that we can make in the kingdom of God. You'd tell me anything we can do, any concert, any drama, any production, any revival, it will never equal the cost of what we see on stage. World evangelism is expensive. It is the most expensive thing we do in the fellowship. World evangelism. What you see on stage, you are looking not just at couples, you are looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I tell you, the Prescott Church, we cannot do this by ourselves. We're partners together. We need your help. We put out, I don't know, over $1 million, something like $100,000 a month in missions. Last time I checked, I think I forgot to update this. I think it was 27 missionary churches, and I think that's actually from 6 months ago, completely or partially, and now we're taking on new responsibilities. So we cannot do that. It's exciting. Wow, let's have a new nation. But someone's got to invest. Let's have more announcements. Here's 10, but someone has to invest. And Obadiah said, I am willing to invest to see the work of God. Final thought from our text is your investment that you're going to make tonight, and I believe you're going to join with me tonight, your investment may wind up saving your life. Because the context of the story is Obadiah is facing a need. He worked for a murderous couple. They were looking for Elijah to kill, and anybody who helps him, they would kill. And so his question that he asks Elijah when he sees him is, do you know? Does God know about my investing to save lives? And the answer is absolutely yes. 1 Kings 18:15, Elijah said, as the Lord of hosts lives before whom I stand, I will surely present myself to him today. In other words, there's something about your investment. God has seen it, and God is going to make sure that you are spared. Your investment can wind up saving your own life. They're going to put a picture up on the screen. In the 1980s, there was a man, a computer programmer named Chris Nefsey. He worked for a company called PRESCOTT, developing defibrillators, portable ones, like what we have in the hallway here in our church, very similar. And so he did some coding work to so that they could make these defibrillators. That was in the 80s. In 2006, Chris Nefsey was playing basketball, and his heart stopped, and he collapsed right on the basketball court. They ran the sports club that he was playing basketball in. They had a defibrillator made by a company called PRESCOTT. It was the very company that Chris Nefsey had invested his labors. He actually did it basically for free to help them. That defibrillator shocked his heart. He lived because of his own investment. You know why I tell you that? I don't mean to be Debbie Downer, but in the next 6 months, you're going to have problems. I know that. How do I know that? Because in the last 6 months, I had problems. It's the nature of life. But Obadiah, here facing a crisis, he says, did God see what I did in the offering? And the answer is absolutely. God was able to intervene. It may be that you're going to face a crisis in your church, in your family, in your health, your marriage, whatever it is. It is biblical that God will look back on this night, on people who have invested. It pleases God when there are people who will invest in the nations. I want the ushers to come right now. I am challenging you. I need you personally to join with me in giving. I need you to, as well, if you're a pastor, not only personally invest, but from your church. If you're going to give electronically, you can give by the Secure Give app or PrescottPottersHouse.com. Go to the Giving tab. There are people that are watching online. You enjoy the conference. You're rejoicing in the announcements from wherever you're watching this, whatever nation, whatever city. I'm challenging you, participate with us. We need your help. You can mail a check to the Potter's House, and there's an address on the screen. But if you don't have access to the money that God is speaking to you to give, I'm asking you in the next 10 days, if you don't have it, write down on a piece of paper, or you can send an email. You'll see it on the screen, PRESCOTT@worldcfm.com, to let us know so we can plan what we can do and how soon we can do this. But I am challenging you. We need to let God know that there are people who believe in other cities, as our brother preached, other nations, new nations. Some of you, by giving tonight, whatever these new nations become, you can say, I had a part from the ground up in 2 different nations, and I'm challenging you. Join with me. Let's give generously. Let's invest so that we can truly invest in saving lives. Let's bow our heads. Right now, with our heads bowed, I am asking God to do a miracle, and I'm praying, God, speak amounts right now. God, it's not my job to tell them what to give, it's yours. And I'm confident you are going to tell them, you're going to speak amounts. I pray that after you tell them the amount, give them the faith to believe you, that they can give that, and that you will help them. God, we thank you. It is the greatest privilege of life to be able to invest in world missions, invest in saving lives. And God, I am thanking you in advance for the souls that are going to be saved, the churches that will be established, the disciples raised up in these churches tonight. And God, I thank you in advance for the return, for the blessing, the protection, the help that will be released by our giving. And I thank you.